Hello everyone and welcome again to my channel. In this video I'll be covering how to scrape Reddit using Node.js and Puppeteer. This is part of my post on the RailPy community. I will be leaving the link in the description below. Let's get started. Let's walk through the table of content and see what are we going to cover in this video. We will start by taking a look on what is Puppeteer and what it is used for. We'll also take a look on the prerequisites and what do we need in our machine to start using Puppeteer in scraping data. Also, we will be setting up the Puppeteer and we will navigate into the Reddit website and execute a search query to scrape certain types of posts. Then we will work on getting more data by scrolling. If we scroll down there, we will load more data. So we will be interested in scraping those as well to get as much data as we can. Then we will extract all the links for all the posts that we have scraped. And then we are going to navigate to each post one at a time. So let's say we will navigate to this post at first. Then we will scrape the name of the subreddit, the username, the post title. If there is a content, it will be scraped as well. The number of upvotes, the number of comments, and maybe we will scrape some of these comments as well. Then we will be saving all of this data in a JSON format so it can be used later. Let's start by defining Puppeteer. Puppeteer is a popular Node.js library that it is very powerful and it is commonly used in web scraping. What Puppeteer actually does, that it gives you an access to something called a headless browser, which you can use in web automation as well as web scraping and data extraction. Now that we have installed Puppeteer and Node.js, we can start by creating our index.js file, which will contain all of our logic. To start setting up Puppeteer, we will need to require the Puppeteer package using the required Node.js API, and we will create a function which will be called run. It will take a search query as a parameter, which will be used in searching different posts. Now let's start by launching our browser, which is the first step. We will use the puppeteer.launch function, and it takes several options. Two of those options which appears here is the headless option, which will make the browser UI shows up so we can see what is happening. Also the default viewport, which will make the browser full screen. Let's run this by running index.js, node index.js, and we will see a browser showing up here, and it is black. Now, before we navigate into the Reddit main page, we need to discuss something called a query parameter. If we navigate into Reddit main page and start typing something in the chat, you can see the URL up here has changed. One of this change is this port, which as you can see, it is something called a query parameter. It is followed by this question mark, and it is composed of three components: the equal at the middle, the name of the query parameter, which is Q, and it stands for search query, I guess, and our search. We will use this syntax in order to navigate into a certain search to get a certain kind of post. So let's see how we can use this in our code. First, we will take the search query input, and we will use the function replace to replace each space with a plus sign. Why would we do that? If we go here and type something that it is more than one word, let's say football and soccer, as you can see here, the URL doesn't contain spaces. So it replaces each space with a plus sign. And that is exactly what we are doing in our code. After that, we will navigate into the Reddit main page and we will put the query parameter manually. We'll put Q equal and then our search query URL that we have replaced each space in it with a plus sign. We'll use the page.goTo function that it will navigate into Reddit custom page. Now, if we run the project again using node index.js, we will see a browser showing up with the exact search that we have searched for, and that is exactly what we needed. Now, before we start scraping all the posts here, as I mentioned before, we would need to scroll multiple times in order to load more than the 24 posts that is shown by default. So how are we going to do this? This is function that have implemented called scroll times, which take the number of times you want to scroll, and it is going to evaluate the page, and it is going to scroll the window inner height multiple times. So we can use this page in order to scroll multiple times to load more data. It is also waiting half a second between each scroll to wait for the data to be loaded. Now, if I run this function again after calling it 100 times, we will see that the page will be loaded and it is going to scroll. It is automatically scrolling, I'm not pressing anything, and it loads more than the 24 default data. Now it is time for the most interesting part, which is extracting all the results. We will need to extract all the links of all of these posts. So first, let's navigate into this page. Let's open the inspector mode using F12, and let's head into elements. If we click on this, which is the inspector, and we hover on each post of this posts, let's say this one, we'll see it will highlight an element on the right. We need to copy the selector for this element so we can scrape it using Puppeteer. Let's right click on this element, go to copy, and copy selector. Now we can use this selector here in this function, which evaluates the selector, this function which evaluates the selector to get all the links in this variable. Now that we have extracted all the links for all the posts that we have, we can navigate to each post page using a for loop for all the links and using the page.goTo function, and we will wait for all the DOM content to be loaded before we start scraping. Now it's time to extract relevant post data. We'll use that by extracting each selector for all the data that we need using the inspector that we have talked about before. I will show you how to get the selector, maybe for the title. Let's hit F12 using the inspector again and hover over this, right click, copy, and copy selector. Now you can see it here. This is a selector for each post title. We can use it to scrap each post title for different posts. The same for the body, and the same for each data that we want, like the score, the comment count, the subreddit prefix name, the author, and the content link. Now that we have written all the code to extract the title and the body and the other data in the post, we will start working on scraping the comments. What we are going to do is that we are going to select the comments selector using the inspector, and we will evaluate all the comments and query for the comments body, author, score, which stands for the upvotes, the link for the comment, and its depth. As you can see here, I created an empty array at the start before for looping over all the links, and I am in the end of the for loop, I am pushing the data into this array so I can use it after the for loop. Finally, we would need to close the browser using the browser.close function. We will print the data into the console, and we are going to stringify the data and write it into a file called data.json so we can use it later on. Let's run the project again and see how we are going to extract the data. As you can see here, it started by scrolling. After it finished scrolling, it will start navigating to each post link. Now it is navigating to each post and extracting its data. Let's speed this up and see the result at the end. Now that it is finished, we got this data.json file that we can explore to find all the script data, and we can use it later. It is in a JSON format containing the title, the body of the post, some matrix like the number of upvotes, the number of comments, which subreddit, what is the name of the author, and the link to the post that I can navigate into. Yeah, this link was in the post. Also, some comments that it described 10 comments. As you might have noticed, it took some time for the Puppeteer headless browser to scrape all of this data. To speed things a little bit faster, we can change this parameter into true. So it will be running in the background. So I type node index.js. The browser will be running, but it won't be shown to me. So it will be faster than the other option. I believe this is the end of our video. We walked through all of the article. You can find the complete source code in my GitHub repo in this link, and I will be leaving it also in the description below. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and a comment, and see you in the next one.